Good morning, everyone. I'm June Riley, founder and CEO of VC Task Force. Thank you for joining us today. VC Task Force is an organization that supports the venture community by addressing issues of the day. And we have various programs for investors, entrepreneurs, and investors and entrepreneurs. Today we have Gary's picks, and Gary will interview Ning Zhang and Mei-Ling Cortinas. And I'm going to turn the floor over to Gary, and he will present a really fantastic interview for you. So take it away, Gary.
Yeah, thanks, June, and thanks, everybody. Great to have you here, Mei-Ling. Also great, Ning, to have you here. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm a serial entrepreneur investor. I've been involved in 17 startups and several unicorns. I was on the original management team of Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Eva.ai, one of the first generative AI companies we founded back in 2016. We believe at GSD, which stands for Get Shit Done, that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And so with that, I've got an incredible company here, Flatfee, and we're going to be talking about how we can democratize opportunities around the world and make this world a little bit better place for all of us. So with that, great to have you here, Ning. Great to have you here, Mei-Ling. So tell us a little bit, Ning, tell us a little bit about your own background and how's this journey been for you?
Thank you, Gary, for inviting me to this webinar. It's very exciting to be here and talking to so many audience here. And then, yeah, it is quite I think that what you are talking about making this opportunity equal to people around the globe, that's exactly the reason I'm here and why we started Flatfee. I came to the United States from China in 2000, and then I studied in University of Illinois and then Georgetown. Graduated with JD degree back in 2007, and then worked in big law firm like Jones Day and Case doing global M&A. So I've been doing global business for many years based in the United States. What I've seen working for the top law firms is that the top law firms tend to represent the top clients. They are the deep pockets. The legal fee is not a big matter for them, but in terms of global medium to small companies, the law firms like that sort is not too helpful. Actually, knowledge is their key kind of commodity, and they are not going to share with a lot of smaller players in the ground, because otherwise it's hard for the big law firms and the accounting firms to charge a fee. So I started to feel the pain of global sellers. The opportunity I'm seeing in today's world is that e-commerce and how internet has changed how people selling globally. In the past, only the top sellers, Fortune 500, they can afford selling internationally. These days, anybody can use Amazon, TikTok, eBay to sell internationally. You have a TikTok kind of a store, or you have a YouTube channel, you become a seller globally. You want to sell your t-shirt, your cap, you become a global seller. Being a global seller is not easy, because that's what I learned from the big law firms working for the top companies. You need to overcome tons of compliance issues, from legal to accounting to tax to intellectual properties, to HR to human resources. That's what I'm doing today. I'm trying to help those international smaller sellers to accomplish compliance when they sell internationally, to help them to address their corporate needs, HR needs, accounting and tax, all those intellectual property needs as well. So that's where we are. Gary, I think you're on mute.
Mei-Ling, how did the two of you meet?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, so I am a CHRO basically, and the vendor manager for Flatfee now. I actually started consulting for Flatfee about 2 years ago. So about 6 months in, Ning asked me if I would join Flatfee, and just based on everything, it was so exciting and everything that they were doing. I couldn't say no. So I've been with Flatfee now for 2 years. And just so you get an idea, my background is in human resources. I've been an HR executive for over 20 years now. So I do bring quite a bit to the table, especially, finding those professionals that we are using right now to make sure that we can help these small and mid-sized businesses. But yes, I've been now with Flatfee for over 2 years, and we keep going.
Now that's great. Well, thanks for sharing your story. And Ning, what kind of impact do you have on these companies? You see these companies from all over the world. One is what kind of impact. Two is what kind of challenges do they face? And three is how do you help them?
I think that first of all, we help them we hold their hand when they expand globally. Otherwise, they won't be able to know what is out there. It's like you are going to a forest to another country. It's scary, and for a lot of small to mid-sized companies, they're totally clueless of expanding into another jurisdiction like another country like United States. So what we can do is we help them to address all those needs in one single platform. I'm not going to stop there saying that I can help you to form a United States in a company and then I'm done. Most attorneys will just end there. I'm not going to be stopping here because then we'll tell them if you have a US company, next thing is compliance. How about if you want to hire somebody, what's going to happen? If you want to do the tax filing, what is the fee out there? What are the landscape? What kind of reporting you are required to do? So that is a huge impact in terms of getting them the knowledge and the one-stop shop of what to do. Second is that we, instead of the bigger shops, that we are using technology, using AI to make the process streamlined and extremely efficient. And we use freelancer professionals. They're equally good, if not even more responsible than a lot of firms you might be dealing with. That way, we reduce the cost dramatically using technology in this field, especially AI. Our current benchmark is we reduce the cost about like 10 times. Basically, we are 1/10 of what they would normally spend on those professional services, which is hard for them to find, and then especially find a good candidate who can support their global businesses. So the difficulty just is kind of mirror what I was talking about to find the right people to get the cost-effective way to operate in another country, because the professionals tend to be scattered around and they're not talking to each other. They tend to be hourly charging people. That is not something that global sellers can afford when they just start up.
So how do you go about it? So somebody wants to form a company. What do you do? Match make them with somebody that is, so if they speak Spanish, do you have Spanish speaking attorneys that can work with them? How close to it do you get? If let's say they're from a place like Argentina and they want to come to the US, can you find those kind of resources that can help them? It sounds like an interesting task.
If you go the normal way, it is hard and expensive because normally, just like you said, in Argentina, if you want to open a business in the United States, or if you don't want to open a business, you just want to pay sales tax. In order to do that, you got to set a company and you ask your Argentina attorney. Argentina attorney will ask a friend in the United States, say, do you know somebody? And that person will do a fee code, and then the Argentina business person will be like, I don't know what to do, what kind of corporation I want to form. That is a lot of back and forth. No, we don't do that. We started from standard practice and the standard packages. On the website, we have about 300 packages out there, and in presenting in different languages, in Chinese, in Spanish, and in Portuguese. And then the client come to our website. They find exactly what they need in the United States. And we tell them very clearly, in using our AI and AI interface, we answer basic questions and we tell them you need this package. And this package is not going to be set up company. This package is if you are selling in United States, here are all the things you need to do. And then we have the local language expert, the salespeople who can take the call, answer basic questions. It's going to amaze you to know most small to mid-sized companies, when they do global business, their needs are more uniform. it's kind of easier to make into a package. Plus, for the global sellers, normally they need a similar services. So we package them exactly for those global sellers. And then once the task come to our website, we don't just go to find any US attorney, accountant, tax person, payroll to do all those. Again, there will be tons of back and forth again. Instead, we do a universal questionnaire. And then after that, we have all the forms pre-filled. We get all the documents pre-filled. And once it goes to the professional freelancers, it tend to be, here's the client needs, here's all the documents already have done. We just need your professional opinion on the next step, and then that's it. So that way, the freelancers find it a wonderful opportunity. They can work for those clients they normally don't get access to. And then they also got a legal assistant, which is us. We're their paralegal, we're their tax preparer, we're their bookkeepers. And we present them with everything already there, and then well communicate with client. So the professionals just need to render their professional judgment and get it filed. And then the cost will be minimal. The freelancers get to work remotely for clients they don't otherwise get to work for.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing, right? Lawyers have to spend a lot of money trying to prospect for clients, and their time's not really optimized, right? They're going down through and prospecting, and there's a lot of dead time. So you've solved a lot of those problems and optimized it. Where do you see the growth? From which countries do you see the greatest growth in terms of coming to places like the U.S.? What countries are hot right now?
I have to say that China is the top region, and most US companies or investors, they don't probably realize a lot of goods we're consuming daily basis are from China. And then a lot of global Chinese sellers, they are selling on Amazon, on eBay, all those channels. And then it's very difficult for them to source professional services in the United States. Of course, that's why, because I do have access to a lot of sellers, that's why I understand their pain point. As a US attorney, I totally understand their pain point. That's why we were able to engineer and produce that product. And then also Latin American countries, they're also a huge exporters into the United States. Mexico, Brazil, we have clients from those countries. And then after that, European countries, we got clients from UK. UK is still like the top suppliers to, like, trading partners to the US. So we've seen a lot of global sellers from UK, although the UK sellers might be sourcing from different European countries and different regions around the globe. Well,
No, that's interesting. And how is the business growing? Because you see this globalization taking place. How's business growing?
thank you for asking that questions, because that is exactly why we did this. It had been growing like crazy, and we never. That is one difficulty we never encountered as a starter is to like other people, lack of clients. We never had that issue. We have been pushed by our clients every day, trying to do more and do faster and do more efficient. We have been growing more than 20% month over month since our initial launch in 2022. And then we started first month, I think we got probably 9,000. After that, it's just growing like crazy. So by now we have more than 300,000 USD monthly sales, something like that.
Boy, that's great. And so, Mei Ling, you've been in HR for a long time. What are some of the problems that these companies encounter from an HR perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So the biggest one, of course, is compliance, and especially when they're trying to hire an employee in different countries, because every single country will have different laws, of course. So that's when we have to come in and make sure that the professionals that we hire, they're very knowledgeable on the compliance side. And now, along with the help of AI, making sure that we get all of the information in place before we even contact these professionals, that we actually do bring in. I know you had a question earlier of how do we bring on all these professionals. So that's what's great. We are basically also a marketplace, where we have a huge pipeline of all these professionals that can provide these services. And especially on the compliance side. So they serve as basically quality control. After we have AI making sure that everything that is needed is completed, then we have all of these vendors come in to produce that quality control, make sure that everything looks correct. So the pain points for a lot of these smaller companies, like I said, is, they don't have to hire an attorney necessarily when they can come to us and they have everything in a one-stop shop. because we have all of these different professionals that we can depend on to complete these jobs. And not just that, but we have standardized processes as well. So we know all of the steps that are required compliance-wise, and to basically provide you with all these services in every single country. As we speak, of course, we're growing into different countries. So like Ning was saying, we have all of these, all of these services that we offer, and we keep adding because of the high demand especially from the small to mid-sized businesses.
Well, you're right. I mean, the world is a lot different than it was 20 years ago. And as we start to do things with places like Africa, where you've got 1.48 billion people in 54 countries, the world's going to continue to change. So when you look at it, how receptive are companies? First of all, they may not know that you exist. So this one-stop shop is a great idea. So on one side of it, do you provide them with the punch list and tell them these are the things you're going to need in order to enter this country? Do you give them a list of things and say, you need to do these in order to enter that country? So they know because they don't know what they need.
Exactly. And I think that's where the transparency comes. And, that's part of the Flatfee part of it. We are able to tell you this is exactly what you need, and this is exactly what it's going to cost you. You don't have to go to 10 different professionals to try to figure that out, which I think that is one of the biggest pain points.
So what happens, so you get a lawyer that's working on a contract. What happens if the company decides they want to do additional work? How do they do it? Do they structure it through you or separately?
There is it depends depending on exactly the kind of work. Flatfee only takes care of the things that can be AI or processed, where we can do the quality control. And then when things get complicated and customized, we call it, we will be just the broker will say, here are the 10 different vendors. We've worked with them before. We have high confidence in, meaning does all the background check. And then every time they perform some job, there is a review process. So we will be able to refer to them, and then they will do the customized work outside of Flatfee. We do have a arrangement with the client and the vendors, but we are not going to be part of the customized work. But we generally just this is like a pyramid. We take care of most of the compliance work necessary for global small to medium sized companies. But we are not going to be taking over the boutique law firms or big law firms or accounting firms job, because they do have unique space in that customized work need.
No, that's great. And so if you look at it, what have been the greatest challenges you faced, and how have you overcome those challenges?
I think just like I was mentioning earlier, we never had a shortage of demand, and then clients always ask for so many things. And then for us, actually, I think we were kind of alluding to that as well, the boundary setting, saying here it is the thing that the technology, AI, and our standard process can be the most beneficiary for everybody, and then to cover your basics. And then we'll have to set a boundary to the client and also to the vendors. Here's a flat fee. We want to do the standardized part of it. And then for the other work, it's outside of the thing, and how we can streamline things and then be fast enough, and then adopt the latest AI. The AI changes so much, and we were using 3.5, all of a sudden it became 4. And then how we can be catching up with technology to give both the client and the vendors the state-of-art technology. That's our challenge, because we're always pressed by our client to deliver the best services. So join the boundary and also use technology to benefit the most to the industry. That's where we are facing the most challenges, I should say.
Well, it's great that your business is growing 20% a month. It's great they're going out and coming up with this kind of service. How do you control the costs of accountants or lawyers so they do a flat fee? Do you just tell them this is what you're willing to pay and that's it? You come up with because every time you're dealing with a lawyer, it seems like you get more hours.
We do actually have, conduct a competitive analysis, we at least have, a benchmark of what the pricing should be. And of course, we try to negotiate and let them know what the expectations are, and that's where we get started, but most of the time, yes, we do have an idea of what it is that we are willing to pay. But of course, they are, contractors, so they would let us know what works and what doesn't. But once we have a process and we have vendors, it becomes competition with all the other professionals. So if one professional is doing it for that, they're willing to work with us because we're bringing the clients to them, obviously. Then it ends up being.
Well, you save them a lot of time, right? You save a
Absolutely.
lot of
Yeah.
legwork going out and
Right,
trying to find. And
right.
so if you look at this kind of consolidated process, how much time do you save a small company versus them? Just, and I'm not asking for exact, but just an idea compared to going out and trying to find these resources on their own. It's got to be an incredible amount of time, right? From my perspective, and money. So what do you think?
I think that by using us, they save, I would say probably 100 hours a month for the CEO, because we indeed, that's a real sample. We have a client coming in, and then that is actually very, very good startup friend. And then initially, he looked into a chart, he looked at all the competitors, talked to like professionals in different industry. He showed me all those complicated spreadsheet. I'm like, why do you do that? We have this one set, and I can tell you it's going to cost like 1/10 of whatever you're going to see on this chart, because our professionals, they don't need to talk to you. They don't need to do all those unnecessary work for you. And we are their paralegal, we are their secretary, and then they only need to spend so little time with us just to call it quality control. So yeah, the founder was extremely happy to go with us, and I think all those spreadsheets that he did was just really useless, because we know what is available in the market, and we know why they charge so much, because they have to account for the handholding, the education, the communications. Nothing's necessary with AI and with us.
No, that's great. And, when you go down through it, how do you get to finding, they could be open in Alabama or Delaware or Florida. How do you find people that are certified in those and have the license for those states? Do you have just a list of those folks, or do you just give them general advice?
Maybe you want to go
Yeah,
about
so
this?
that is absolutely. So that is part of our vetting process. Of course, we do interview our professionals. They just don't come in and put their name on there, like some of our competitors. We have professionals actually on our team as well. As you know, a lot of our team members are attorneys. And anybody that's, for example, in accounting or in any other service line that we provide, we try to make sure that we have a process manager who can interview them, who knows what they're talking about, who knows what to expect. So after we vet them, apart from your usual background check and making sure that we review their resumes, so that's pretty much very standard for all of our professionals that come on board. And that's what's great as well, that we're saving time for all of our clients, because they might go through 3 different professionals before they find the right one, right? With us, we've already done that. We know if one of the professionals didn't work out, then we go to the next one and make sure that we use only the best professionals that we can find.
Yeah, I was going to say, how do you vet the folks over time? You're probably continually replacing people, and recommending people. Do you have a review process for these professionals where the customers review them and give you their feedback? Kind of like Uber.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just the customers, but like I said, our process managers, they will actually review all of our vendors. As soon as they are completed with one job, every single professional gets a review after every single job. Even if we've had them for 100 jobs, every single job, they will get reviewed afterwards. If something goes wrong, then we address it immediately.
Right.
You
That's
have a
the good
learning.
thing. That's a good thing. We're better than Uber, because you can only pick one driver for your drive, for your ride. For us, we have so many people available on the network, especially for people freelancers. A lot of attorneys, in today's economic situation, a lot of people are looking for freelance work. So we get abundant people here, and we can always benchmark them. And better than Uber is that we get driver to rate and review another driver, so they know exactly what can go wrong. Basically, people are peers in that professional industry. It's hard for a client to review professional services because they don't know. And then the best way to do it is always for peer review. And that's what we've implemented. And then we require them to do the review each time.
And aside from that,
No, that's great.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
was going to
Meili.
say also, because of the use of AI and the standardized processes, we try to remove as much of the potential for human error as possible. So in reality, most of these vendors, basically, they're coming in and just reviewing work that has already been done by AI, just to make sure that it was done correctly.
How much better is the AI now from when you started? Let's just say a year ago. How much better is it in coming up the right kind of details?
It's amazing. It's amazing. Our team is just always surprised by the latest AI technology. I can tell you those kind of niche cases you might not hear from other AI apps. Like we, for accounting side, our clients have agreements in different languages. Part of the thing the bookkeeper needs to do is to understand that every language in the old age, you got to find people reading that contract summarized for you, and then the accountant needs to decide where to categorize that. And these days, you can just ask ChatGPT to summarize all the payables, receivables in English. We, of course, all the languages English, so it whatever language comes in, it comes out clearly summarized and very neat. That is amazing. And the legal side is the same. And then we do IP analysis. And then the improvement between ChatGPT 4 and ChatGPT 3.5 is amazing. And then, of course, we don't end there. We always, that's the difference from us and other like a traditional AI, which is pure AI, right? We got the freelancers to the professionals to review. And from the time they spend, we can tell the difference. We can tell they spend much less time these days to review the AI generated report compared to the past. And they are our gatekeeper and quality control person. And the less time they spend, the cheaper they are.
Interesting. Well, listen, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us today. It's appreciated. June? June? Hello, June?
Be right with you. Hold on a sec.
That's okay. Anyhow, I want to thank you both, Ning and Mei Ling, for coming today. It's appreciated. And I want to thank all my audience for joining one more time the Gary's Picks edition. My name is Gary Fowler and I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back to you again soon with another exciting edition. June?
Yes, I wanted to thank you for Gary. You just bring so many fantastic people here for us to listen to. And I have to say, Ning, your energy level is captivating, and you're bringing something to the world that is a godsend. Because I know how companies get involved in finding attorneys and finding out what they need to do legally, and it's a nightmare. It's a quagmire. And you're bringing something to the table that is time a saving, and in a really in a way that's going to be saving people money. So I think this is an absolutely fabulous thing that you're doing. So thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you, Gary, for bringing them to us. And
Thank you.
Ning, I'll probably be contacting you afterwards because I have a couple of other questions for you. And Mei Ling, thank you so much for sharing your side of the business, because that's really great. And for everybody, what is your website so that they can contact you?
Oh, it's called a Flatfee Corp, FLATFEECORP, flatfeecorp.com. So we are Flatfee Place. Come over, order whatever. There won't be additional charge. You'll never get another bill from attorney ever.
That sounds great. Thank you.
That's the last word. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, June.
Bye.